Hello, people. Today we will talk about humor and we will talk about funny stories. And the first question is tell us about a funny thing that has happened to you or one of your friends.
Right, the last funny thing that happened to me was in this school. It was very recent, about 2 months ago. It was I Can Speak at 5 p.m. And I had a student, can I say his name?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, his name was Medic,
Yes.
right? And I'd seen Medic a few times before. I'd known his face, I knew his personality. But suddenly, one of the students mentioned that he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right, in class. And suddenly, I did a double take. I looked at Medic, and I did no longer saw my student. I saw a young Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at me, and I imagined him talking in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice, and I started laughing so hard in front of the class that the students were asking me, "Bash, are you okay?" And I remember I was laughing so hard the tears were flowing from my eyes, and I had to clean my lenses from the tears. That was probably the last funny thing that happened.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question is can you tell us a joke or a funny thing that you heard or saw on television?
Oh man, probably, let's see. One of my favourite comedies is a British news satire show called Have I Got News For You? And I remember a very early episode of this show in which basically this is kind of like a game show. So there's 4 panelists and they put up a headline like from the Daily Mail or Daily Telegraph, and they take out a blank and you have to guess you have to fill in the blank. For example, an old British Prime Minister was a lady called Margaret Thatcher in the 80s. And they would have a segment of the headline saying, "I made Thatcher," with the blank. And the panelists have to guess. And one guy guessed, "I made Thatcher." He then, swallow. "I made Thatcher swallow." You know, that's kind of funny. If you know how to read between the lines, I remember thinking that was hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the next question is what are your favorite comedy shows?
Well, my favourites are The Day to Day, which is another British satire show. The Day to Day is a comedy show in the format of the BBC. It's presented like the BBC. They talk with BBC voices, but they tell jokes. It's great. And another one is probably Fawlty Towers with John Cleese. It's a 70s British sitcom of a hotel bed and breakfast owner in suburban England, and he's very rude to his guests, and he gets what's coming to him for being very rude to his guests.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the last question is who are your favorite comedians?
Good question. I would say Stuart Lee, a stand-up comedian from Birmingham. He tells jokes about things like jazz and progressive rock. He makes jokes about very strange things that nobody has ever heard of, and he does it in a way that everybody can laugh. I would probably also say, who else? John Cleese from Fawlty Towers, Chris Morris from The Day to Day is a funny comedian because he's very good at telling jokes in a very subtle way, and you have to kind of know about the world to understand the joke. Those guys.
Okay, thank you.